At 71, John Travolta made a series of quiet decisions that unsettled even those who knew him best. It began with objects leaving his life, not sold, not archived, but given away. A leather jacket from Saturday Night Fever was gifted to a young actor he barely knew. One of the backup white suits from 1977 was sent anonymously to a Brooklyn dance instructor. A pair of pilot wings, once given to him by Kelly Preston, was handed to a stranger at a charity event. Friends noticed a shift, something reflective in his eyes, less driven by legacy and more by release. When he later shared a short video thanking everyone who ever believed in him, his voice cracked with emotion. He didn't explain why. He simply wanted people to know that every step, every role, every dance had been for them. A life shaped by early loss. Long before fame, John Travolta learned that loss was something you carried, not escaped. Born on February 18, 1954, in Englewood, New Jersey, he grew up the youngest of 6 children in a home filled with noise, pressure, and limited means. His father worked long hours running a tire shop, while his mother, Helen, a former actress, turned their living room into a makeshift stage. Money was scarce, but imagination was not. Helen taught acting classes to supplement income, performing scenes while cooking dinner, transforming the ordinary into something magical. Young John watched closely, captivated by her ability to become someone else entirely. That transformation felt like freedom. When his siblings teased him and the outside world felt unkind, acting offered a way to disappear safely. His mother saw it immediately. She didn't call it escape. She called it a gift. Becoming invisible to survive school was not kind to John Travolta. Thin, pale, and burdened with a stutter, he became an easy target for teasing and isolation. Each day felt like a test of endurance, learning where to sit, where to hide, how not to be noticed. The cruelty carved something deep inside him, an uncertainty that lingered long after the words stopped. But at home, he found relief through performance. He mimicked teachers, neighbors, and television characters, making his family laugh and briefly forgetting his own pain. Acting became more than play. It became protection. His mother enrolled him in local theater, where being different wasn't punished, it was valued. Under stage lights, he felt safe. For the first time, he wasn't trying to disappear. He was finally being seen, and that feeling would quietly guide every major decision he made for the rest of his life. The applause that changed everything. At 12 years old, John experienced a moment that reshaped his understanding of himself. Cast in a small role in a community theater production directed by his mother, he stepped onto the stage carrying years of insecurity. As the performance unfolded, something remarkable happened. His voice steadied. His movements grew confident. The boy who struggled to speak in class spoke effortlessly under the lights. When the show ended, the audience stood and applauded, not politely, but enthusiastically. John froze, overwhelmed by the sound. It wasn't just approval, it was acceptance. Backstage, seasoned actors shook his hand. His parents cried. That night, John understood something profound. Acting wasn't about pretending, it was about becoming whole. From then on, he chased that feeling with determination, knowing the stage offered something the world outside often did not: belonging. Leaving home before he was ready. By 16, John Travolta made a decision that frightened everyone around him. He left high school and moved to New York City with little money and no safety net. He slept in YMCA rooms, worked multiple jobs, and auditioned relentlessly. Rejection became routine. Loneliness followed closely behind. Yet he kept going, Driven by memory of that applause and his mother's belief, he trained rigorously, working on his voice, movement, and discipline. Slowly, the stutter faded. His confidence grew. Small theater roles turned into larger opportunities. Each performance sharpened his instincts. He learned that talent alone wasn't enough. Endurance mattered. Commitment mattered. When he finally landed steady, work, it wasn't luck. It was survival, refined into skill. The boy who once hid during recess had learned how to stand his ground under unforgiving lights. Fame arrives faster than healing. Television success arrived swiftly with Welcome Back, Kotter, turning John into a household name almost overnight. Fame brought opportunity, money, and visibility, but it didn't erase old wounds. He was still the same boy who learned to hide pain behind performance. When Saturday Night Fever and Grease followed, his image became iconic. The world celebrated his confidence, unaware of the grief quietly unfolding behind the scenes. His mother passed away just as his career reached new heights, a loss that cut deeply. He smiled for cameras while mourning privately, learning early that success doesn't pause for sorrow. That lesson stayed with him. Fame, he discovered, could amplify joy, but it couldn't protect you from loss. Sometimes it only made the silence afterward louder. Success, ego, and hard lessons. The late 1970s and early 1980s brought difficult choices. Surrounded by praise, John trusted instinct over caution, sometimes mistaking confidence for certainty. He turned down roles that would later define careers for others. Projects he believed in didn't always resonate. The industry shifted quickly, and suddenly, the spotlight moved on. Hollywood's memory proved short. Offers slowed. Criticism grew louder. It wasn't punishment, but reality. Success had taught him how high he could rise. Failure taught him how fragile that rise was. Those years humbled him. They stripped away illusions and forced reflection. John learned that fame is not identity, and applause is not security. What mattered was adaptability, resilience, and the willingness to begin again without bitterness. Love, family, and a new center meeting. Kelly Preston changed everything. Their relationship brought stability during uncertain years, grounding John in something real beyond career fluctuations. Marriage and fatherhood reshaped his priorities. Holding his children made success feel smaller, less urgent. Family became his anchor. When professional opportunities returned, he chose differently. He valued presence over prestige, time over headlines. Fatherhood taught him patience. Love taught him vulnerability. For a while, life found balance. He worked, flew planes, laughed at home. It felt earned. But life had more lessons waiting, ones that no amount of experience could prepare him for. Grief that redefined him. The loss of his son Jett in 2009 changed John Travolta irrevocably. No role, no achievement, no past hardship compared to that moment. Grief dismantled him completely. For a long time, he stepped away from public life, focusing solely on healing and protecting his family. When Benjamin was born, hope returned carefully, not as replacement, but as continuation. He learned that grief doesn't disappear, it reshapes you. When Kelly later became ill and passed away in 2020, that grief deepened, yet her final wish stayed with him. She asked him to keep living fully, to keep dancing, to stay present for their children. He promised he would. Why he let go in 2025. In 2025, when John Travolta began giving away pieces of his past, it wasn't surrender. It was clarity. He understood that memories live in people, not objects. Giving those items away was an act of generosity, not farewell. He wasn't stepping away from life. He was stepping into it differently. At 71, he chose lightness over legacy, connection over preservation. He still flies. He still dances. He still shows up, not to reclaim who he was, but to honor who he has become. John Travolta's story isn't about endings. It's about endurance, about carrying love, loss, and joy at the same time, and choosing every day to keep moving forward, even when the music fades.